together, bound by a bond that transcended language and circumstance, setting the atmosphere for a meeting that would challenge hearts and dispel stereotypes, and finally demonstrate the transforming potential of compassion in a society that occasionally appears to be cold. The globe had been turned into a frozen wasteland by the cold winter, where every breath was apparent and every stride a fight against the ruthless cold of nature's fury in a remote town on the edge of a snow-covered valley. In this harsh environment, 18 degrees 6 had driven almost all living things into hiding. The predicament of a single mother dog and her 3 small puppies developed like a last-ditch appeal for survival in the final rays of dying light. As the dawn battled to warm the frozen ground, a shabby but resolute mother dog sprang out of the darkness. Her fur, once a warm tapestry of golds and browns, it was now coated and clumped with frost. Every muscle in her slender body clenched urgently as she made her way through the barren fields and slick walkways. She was motivated just to save. Her puppies nestled tightly against her body, shielded from the icy cold that threatened to destroy their frail lives. 3 puppies that were hardly more than shaky bundles of fur shook wildly. Their terrified and apprehensive gaze darted about at every sudden noise, including the distant howl of the occasionally hear the sound of ice shattering and wind the creak of a frozen branch. Underfoot, the mother dog's maternal instincts gently pushed them forward, her eyes never leaving. After what seemed like an eternity of traveling through the desolation, looking for any indication of refuge on the horizon, a small home with brightly illuminated windows that promised shelter from the sun was visible to the family in the distance. The tiny and inconspicuous house stood like a beacon of hope in the midst of a violent storm. Its worn facade and soft, inviting interior contrast with the snow's infinite whiteness. The severe weather outside was drastically contrasted with the sunshine as the mother dog drew. As the dilemma weighed heavily on her, every gut feeling told her that the security of the unknown was a risk, but there was a much bigger chance of freezing to death. She stopped at the edge of snowbank, her breath hazy as she contemplated her next course of action. Voices spoke softly within the house, the sounds of folks going about their evening activities without realizing the quiet conflict taking on outside their door. Michael, a reclusive artist well known in the community for leading a calm, alone existence and having a great capacity for empathy, lived inside that cozy abode. Michael had painted the winter landscapes from the warmth of his home on numerous chilly nights for all living things. His messy studio, and his heart frequently ached for the unseen misery of the world beyond his windows that evening as he paused as he sipped his tea and looked out at the whirling snow after hearing a slight noise at his door. Unusual was the repetitive crunch of a paw on snow, which evoked a long-forgotten recollection of tentative steps and compassion. When Michael opened the door, he saw the mother dog standing hesitantly outside his house. Behind her, the 3 shivering puppies had silent pleas and eyes full of urgency. And defenseless leaned near in a last-ditch effort to find warmth. Michael's first surprise was replaced by it. With an overpowering sense of duty, he bent down and held out a loving hand. His voice was gentle as he whispered, "It's okay. Come in. You're safe now." The howl of the storm and the tired quiet of the dog within were broken by comforting words. The shivering family was enveloped by the house's warmth as Michael quickly got blankets and a bowl of lukewarm. The mother dog wrapped protectively around her puppies as the water was placed gently next to the blazing fireplace. Michael's actions spoke as they gathered together and gradually started to of safety. He had not chosen to be a hero because of a profound, but when confronted with his heart's unadulterated, desperate longing for someone else had forced him to take on the role of. As the night went on, Michael gave his new visitors cautious attention while keeping an eye on the mother puppy with silent awe. Even though it was clear she was tired, her resolve was evident in every step she took. Pondered the lengthy journey that had brought her here, the sacrifices she had made, and the risks she had taken. Ensure her children's future in the quiet hum of the fire and the steady beat of his own heart. Outside the wind, Michael was captivated by their quiet story of survival and parental love. Its unrelenting assault on the planet. But in Michael's tiny haven, a frail family was starting to. The encounter's first shock was replaced by tender moments of connection, a mutual knowledge of loss and hope, as well as a shared warmth. Michael was aware that the night was far from done, and he and the rescued family still faced numerous obstacles. Yet at that very time, the act of providing shelter to someone who was lost in the cold turned into a beacon of hope, serving as a reminder that even in the most hopeless circumstances, kindness can kindle a flame that resists the darkness with the first. As the mother dog slept, Michael sat calmly by the fire and watched the first signs of dawn peek through the frost-laden windows. He sensed her tired head and the puppies falling asleep as they were gradually soothed by the warmth. He felt a strong feeling of purpose, as though this chance encounter marked the start of something. A brave act of goodwill had transformed a planet where all reasonable creatures had sought refuge from the chilly one. Forge a bond that would forever alter lives. When the first rays of dawn started to shine through Michael found himself reflecting quietly on the previous night's events as